Welcome back. It was a night of joy and heartbreak in Berlin as Spain beat England to win Euro 2024.
Spanish captain Alvaro Morata held the trophy aloft after the side touched down in Madrid, having rounded off a convincing campaign with a 2-1 victory in the final. The trophy will be paraded through the city, with thousands expected to bask in the country's success.
Steve Wilson is a British football commentator who covered matches at this year's Euros. Great to have you on the show. Look, heartbreak for England, but Spain had a good tournament from beginning to end, didn't they? And such a young team.
Absolutely. I don't think that anybody could really argue with the notion that Spain were the best side in the tournament. After all, they won all 7 of their matches in Germany in the Euro finals, and that's unprecedented. It's never been done before without need of penalty shootout. So that is something new and fresh. They were an attacking, exciting side, and their key men, so young. I say men, I mean almost boys. Lamine Yamal just turned 17 the day before the final, and Nico Williams, who turned 22 2 days before the final. Those wide attackers were hard to cope with, and I thought England played okay in the final, but you know, over the course of the 90 minutes, I think Spain were comfortably the better side, and over the course of the month, they were most definitely the best side in the tournament.
Who would you say were the standout stars of the tournament, and who would you leave in the locker room?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, some of the older faces, of course, we won't see again. Cristiano Ronaldo has said it's his last Euros. Toni Kroos has retired from football completely. Luka Modric, I don't think we'll see playing at this level again for his country. So there are 3 of the very greatest footballers of their generation who we will no longer see. I was quite excited. I saw him play a couple of times by a young Ukrainian who plays just off the striker for Ukraine, called Georgi Sudarkov, who plays in Ukraine with Shakhtar Donetsk. He's probably the best player still playing in the Ukrainian league right now. And of course, there are those 2 Spanish youngsters I mentioned. There are other young players coming through. Jamal Musiala at Germany, for Germany, had a wonderful tournament. Very, very young player. And Jude Bellingham did pretty well for England too. Disappointments, I suppose. You wouldn't leave him in the locker room, I would have to say. But obviously, Kylian Mbappe never really showed up this tournament. 1 goal from the penalty spot, restricted by a broken nose. That was a shame.
Overall, do you think Germany pulled off a good Euros? I mean, the hosts wanted to have the most sustainable Euros ever. And I just wonder how much the fans, the clubs and the players really care about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure sustainability would have been top of people's list when they were trying to get a ticket for the final in the Olympiastadion yesterday. But yes, I mean, Germany is a fabulous footballing country. The infrastructure, of course, is modern. Travel is relatively straightforward, though the train system is perhaps not quite so good in 2024 as I remember it from 2006 when they hosted the World Cup, I have to be honest. But in general, it was the football wasn't terrific, but I think the atmosphere at the tournament itself was, and that made probably a little bit of a change from the Qatar World Cup of 2022, where football was excellent, but the atmosphere was somewhat lacking. And of course, if you go back to the delayed Euros of 2021, well, there was very little atmosphere apart from in 1 or 2 places where COVID restrictions didn't apply, such as Budapest. But in general, it was a bit of a lackluster Euro because we were in the midst of COVID. So this was really what I would say was the first traditionally atmospheric tournament we've had for some years, and all the better for it.
Steve Wilson, thank you so much.
My pleasure.